Hey guys, welcome to my Griffin vs SKT Vod review. Griffin has been a super hyped team in Korea. They've been just going on a rampage. I don't think they've dropped a single game yet. And apparently they demolished SKT in this game. So we're going to go check it out and see how the games happened. Alright, let's start with the picks as normal. Double speed. So we're going to go to the end of the pick and bans to see how the pick and bans went. Alright, let's go before the swap so we can see the order of the picks. So they lock in rights. Okay. So let's talk about a few key bans that went down. So when you're on blue side, you can often do what is called sniper bans. Sniper bans are just targeted bans towards the enemy team that's not really dependent too much on the meta. So Thresh, Israel, and All-Star, while these are champions that are played in the meta, these aren't the highest priority champions. What Griffin is doing is they're banning out tools that SKT has that could surpass Griffin. So they probably think the randomness and the playmaking of Mata on playmaker supports like All-Star and Thresh is one thing that can topple them. So they decided to target ban towards Mata, and Teddy has been an incredible Israel player, so they ban Israel away from Teddy. On the other hand, from SKT side, because they're purple, they have to do what's called OP bans, where you have to ban champions that are supposedly OP. Because they're playing on 9.2, the Rakan Galio combo is a lot weaker, so it looks like teams aren't banning Galio as much, and also Chobi is not someone that would probably prioritize Galio. And Faker is actually the ones that's been playing Galio a lot. Faker's actually been playing a lot of utility mid laners a lot, like Galio, like Lissandra, or like Rise. So it looks like SKT is not banning Galio. Cassiopeia is something they must ban. Chobi and Viper are probably one of the best Cassiopeia players in the world, and giving Griffin Cassio is near suicidal, so they're banning out Cassio. Same thing with Akali, just a really strong, incredibly flexible first pick for blue side, banning out Akali. And Lucian's a champion that gives teams a lot of priority when they pick it bottom, so they're banning out Lucian. A lot of Griffin's draft revolve around picking champions with priority and strong engage so they can get their team fight going. And that's why they decide to first pick Aatrox. It can go jungle, it can go mid, it can go top lane, so no surprise there at all. SKT replying with Urgot. Urgot's also one of the very strongest champions in the meta, very flexible, can go mid and top, great in team fights, great in lane. Olaf is a little bit more special. Olaf early means you are playing for prio. And then Griffin picking Sion and Braum. The only thing that really surprises me is the Braum pick. I'd imagine they could have picked their mid lane here, like Lissandra early or something else early, because they already have a great teamfight comp set up, but they decide to go with Braum. Sion's another one of those Griffin picks. Very strong champion that gives them engage and that gives them priority. So rest of the SKT's draft gets finished up with Victor and Rise, and Griffin with Kai'Sa and Lissandra. So let's look at both comps in its completion. Let's see who's going to be playing what. Alright. It looks like Faker on Rise and Clit on Olaf. Rise and Olaf are champions as a duo that can build a lot of priority together. So they're going to want to play for the mid-jungle priority a lot. Same thing for Griffin though. Aatrox and Lissandra are a duo that can build a lot of priority together also. So the mid-jungle 2v2 is going to matter incredibly a lot. So one thing that's super important for bot lane for Teddy and Mata, because they put Victor bot with Tahm Kench, is that their bot lane stays mobile. Victor needs to push out the lane and Kench needs to start walking mid to affect the mid-jungle 2v2. So it's going to be incredibly important that the Tahm Kench is moving. As for Griffin, they drafted more of a teamfight bot lane. Kai'Sa and Braum aren't the strongest 2v2. What they are incredibly good at is teamfights. Griffin has one of the best teamfights in the game, just due to their comp and also the players they have. So their major win condition is going to be teamfight this game. As for SKT, their major win condition is going to be split push and playing the map very widely. Rise is a great split pusher, Urgot's an okay split pusher, and Tahm Kench does a great job of moving between lanes. And one thing that Victor does really well is later on in the game when he goes mid lane with his laser upgrade, he can consistently keep clearing mid. Alright, let's go start the review. Let's go to the actual game itself. Let's turn on the webcam. Let's move it slightly. And then it's a me, yeah. Let's go. It looks like level 1's very standard, both teams just fanning out. Hey guys, joining us for the VOD review. Oh, I'm super excited for this. So, it looks like Aatrox doing a no-leash start on Wolves. I've actually never seen that, so I'm gonna be pretty curious where it goes. He goes Wolves to Wraith. Wow. These are very funky jungle pathing. Wolves to Wraith. To red. One thing about watching Tarzan, he does get special treatment from the casters and from analysts and also from me, because he's just been so on point with his pathing and his understanding of jungle. So anything that Tarzan does, I'm just going to be like, okay, this looks troll, but I probably understand jungle a lot less than this guy, so let's try to figure out why he's doing this. Wolf Wraith red to Scuttle up top. I guess this gives him majority of the camps up top side, and he's able to recall and get a good setup too. And especially if he's not looking for ganks early, this can be good. And if he meets Olaf over there, he should be level 3, yeah, ready to fight. It's 1, 2, 3 camps. Oh, wait, until he gets Scuttle, he's actually not level 3. So he can come back, do his double golems. Oh, also this gives him just the right amount of gold to make sure he can get his first jungle item. That's probably why. First jungle item plus double pink wards. I guess he really wanted that buy, and that's probably why he did that bad thing. Olaf's looking for early gank, but there's wards. Chobi's also just been incredible. Chobi has by far been the best mid laner in Korea. Also, this matchup isn't supposed to go this badly for Urgot. I think this is one of Khan's weakness, playing tankish champions. Like Sion versus Urgot should never be this bad, where Sion gets this much of a lead and he's able to push out the Urgot like this. Even though there's only 7 CS differential, just Sion maintaining this much priority is not exactly how this lane goes. Still nothing too big so far. Both teams just laning. If the game does remain in like a neutral state, it is so much better for Griffin though. Because in a neutral state where Kaisa just gets to farm up and the game goes to a team fight phase, it's just so good for Kaisa. Like there aren't that many threats on SKT's team that really deal with Kaisa well. Probably Rise is going to be the only one. Everyone else, it's going to be really hard to really handle what's going to be coming from Kaisa. And it's not just the Kaisa too. Aatrox, Cassandra, these are definitely high threat champions. They'll build a lot of space for Kaisa in team fights, and Kaisa's going to be able to go off. So Chobi going double ring into Kindle Gem. He's going Proto Belt first. So a lot of people ask about the double Dark Seal build. So why people go double Dark Seal build on Lissandra and a lot of other champions is it's the cheapest way to have near infinite mana. Ooh, small skirmish going down there. If Chobi had a little bit more mana, that actually would have been a kill. We can look at that one again. So Chobi has low mana from early on. Oh, wait. One thing that's curious is, did Tarzan not mean to give Chobi blue buff? Oh, this was actually a mistake. Chobi's here trying to get blue buff. Yeah, he definitely meant to give it to Chobi. He didn't mean to take it away from Chobi because, I mean, obviously Aatrox has no mana. Chobi is a mana hungry champion. Yeah, if Chobi has mana here, this fight goes so differently. EW, Faker uses cleanse on this, and Chobi doesn't have mana to ult. If they had mana, Faker would actually die there. Hi Brittany, how are you doing? But yeah, double ring plus corrupting pot means you have near infinite mana. Ooh, Mercs on Lissandra, interesting. I guess Mercs are fine this game because it's versus Rides and Olaf. Wow, the game is very calm. Looks like the first fight is going to go down near Inferno Drake though. Inferno Drake is a big objective and both teams have team fight as kind of their win condition. For SKT, not really, but sort of. They still do want a team fight. Their major win condition is split push, but why Inferno Drake is so important is for a lot of times it will give you a win condition that didn't exist. Like getting Earth Drake helps you get Baron faster, helps you get turret faster. It is very helpful and it helps you win the game. Air Drake helps you move around the map. Ocean Drake really strong early in lane. But one thing really special about Inferno Drake is, let's say you have a split push comp, but you get a lot of Inferno Drakes. Then sometimes getting those Inferno Drakes will mean even with a split push comp, you might get stronger in team fights. That's the thing that's really special about it. It unlocks win conditions for your team that you guys didn't have from the draft. So even if your team has a weaker team fight comp, just by getting Inferno Drake and scaling, you unlock a win condition in team fighting. And Griffin does still outscale SKT with one Inferno, but having the Inferno definitely helps SKT with the scaling. And as multiple Infernos potentially pop up on the map, it means that you're getting closer and closer to actually being able to beat SKT or beating Griffin in team fights. Wow, the games are just so slow. I'd imagine that Griffin would have done something with picking Lissandra and Aatrox because these are both heavy priority champion, but they haven't really invaded, they haven't really pressured or played for anything too much. The only thing they really played for is getting mid priority, and that priority got used to chunk out the mid turret. So a lot of people asking about Redemption Olaf. I mean, it's been popularized in Korea due to Tarzan playing it. You get Redemption on Olaf because you don't scale very well with offensive stats because you do true damage, so offensive stats aren't the greatest, and you don't scale very well with defensive stats either. So how people have been getting around that is actually just building utility. So SKT able to sneak in a second Inferno, which is nice for them. They're definitely getting to the level where they can team fight. It's not like they have a weak team fight. They have Urgot, Rides, Victor. It's just Griffin has an incredibly strong team fight. Like Braum is also one of those team fighting gods. Braum is just a fucking god champion when it comes to team fight. Why Braum's so good in team fight is his ultimate is an insanely strong team fight tool. His Q and his passive are strong team fight tool, but it's the shield itself. When Braum has his shield up, it means the AD carry just cannot be killed. It's even stronger than like a Tahm Kench protect, because whenever Tahm Kench is protecting the AD carry can't be doing damage, or the AP carry can't do damage. But when a Braum is protecting the AD carry or the AP carry, like they're still able to dish out their damage. So it basically like the AD carry or the mid lane. Oh shit, disengage. Let's actually look at how it's going down. Looks like SKT trying to contest for vision, but they know they have less numbers, so they have to run away and mod averting flash. But to touch on it again, Griffin just burning flashes. Here, I'll actually go over this because it's important. They see Ryze and Urgot on the other side of the map, and they're just so confident about Ryze and Urgot on the other side of the map. We need to engage. They're very, very decisive too. And then Ryze and Urgot both collapsed them more to kind of deal with it, and then they didn't get to push out their waves all the way. And one thing else very typical of Griffin is their high priority on stopwatch. You can see mid-game, a lot of their players having stopwatch, way more so than other teams. Stopwatch is basically a third summoner spell, and it's one of the strongest teamfight tools, and Griffin players use it very well, and they prioritize it very well. And only a 2k gold lead for Griffin, and SKT did pick up 2 Infernos. SKT probably looking to finish their core big items, and they might start looking for team fights. Kai'Sa's already on 2 items though, and she's scaling, like she's being funneled incredible amounts of gold. You can see how Griffin's gold distribution is so well done. There's bounty on Lissandra and Kai'Sa. When there's bounty on these champions, it means, oh, looks like we're gonna set up for a team fight. But there's bounty on Lissandra and Kai'Sa. It just means these champions have been getting extreme amounts of gold over their counterparts and over the team in general. Griffin's just good about making sure the gold goes on the right side. They're not necessarily looking to fight this. There aren't that many TP wars for Lissandra, so it's going to be hard for it to come in. I'm not sure you guys fight this. This is a 4v5. Okay, never mind. Griffin team fight too strong. Holy shit, never mind. Why did SKT lose this so badly? So Sword going into the middle. Lissandra on top side of the map. It's on a choke, and they're fighting on the Scion. Lissandra coming in. But Tarzan just landed a great knockup. Olaf has to flash out, and then Mata, yeah, getting close down. Okay, I underestimated Griffin's backline damage and also just the strength of their engagers. It looks like SKT just weren't ready for the fight. And just the core Griffin champions that make them Griffins, things like Kai'Sa, things like Alistar, or not Alistar, Kai'Sa, things like Scion, they're just so good about engages. They're like, okay, we need to start the fight right away. Scion goes in, buys time with stopwatch. Aatrox gets his Q, able to chase down with multiple Qs. God damn, this is fucking disgusting. They just have no hesitancy when they want a team fight, and SKT looks like have a lot of hesitancy. Because they got the fight started in a choke, and if they grouped up better, I do think they could have taken that fight a lot better. Oof. Little overzealous there from Kai'Sa, having to burn 3 very important tools: her ult, her flash, her stopwatch. Okay, next Inferno. This Inferno is actually really big. You can see Victor gonna be at incredible amounts of AP. Getting the 3rd Inferno would actually allow SKT to start team fighting and win. This one, Griffin's just not gonna give up. There's no way in hell Griffin gives up the 3rd Inferno. If Griffin does give up the 3rd Inferno, it gives the SKT a way into the game. About a minute left. I guess there is one condition they might give up Inferno on, which is they get Baron. But even then, I don't think that's that worth. Can they snowball the gold lead enough? If they get Baron, they would actually. If they get Baron, they would have 6 to 7k gold lead. They would win long if they don't make another mistake after Baron. If Griffin got Baron and traded for Inferno, long as they don't make another mistake after Baron with the 6 to 7k gold lead, they would win the game. But looks like they're going for the 5v5 at Baron or Dragon instead. Alright, it's gonna start with a Scion ult as always. Yep, Scion ulting in, hitting 2 targets, getting the Q knock up. Wow. You know, one champion I would actually ban versus Griffin a lot is Scion. You can see how well like the Scion is consistently playing. Every time he's able to land his ult on someone, look, the fight starting with Aatrox, he's able to land his ult on 2 targets and then Q on 3 targets. This is just so bullshit. This is so bullshit. Scion gives them lane prio, Scion gives them a frontline, Scion gives them engage. This champion is just so bullshit for Griffin. Yeah, they have no chance in teamfight. Remember what we talked about, how strong Kai'Sa is. God damn. And then Griffin able to pick up their first Inferno, closing the gap a lot. Viper starting with on the knockup, finishing the Urgot, and then going in. I think he could have gone in a little late or a little earlier, but that was fine too. Yeah. So another really bullshit thing about Kai'Sa is defensive items on AP carries are much stronger. Like Banshee is a much stronger item than like a Hex Drinker is. Zhonya's is a much stronger item than a Guardian Angel is. So AD carries aren't supposed to have access to Banshees or Zhonya's. They're supposed to not be able to buy those items. But because Kai'Sa builds AP, she's allowed to buy those items and still function as an AD carry. That's the other thing that's really bullshit about Kai'Sa. SKT trying to rush this Baron. Tarzan not gonna let them have it. People are teleporting in. Scion coming in. Ooh, Olaf actually able to get it though. And then the follow-up fight. So this kind of Baron is, we call it like selling your soul for the Baron. So you get the Baron, but majority of your team dies, so you don't get the Baron buff on enough people. and all the gold that you get with Baron actually goes over to the other team due to the kill gold. You can see how they have negative gold, so they basically sold their soul for Baron. So like, it's terms you come up with like watching broadcast, and also like as teams play or as you coach and you scrim, you'll be like, yeah, this play is called selling your soul for the Baron, like don't do it, it's not worth. Damn. That game was actually just so clean from Griffin in the sense where they had no, like, I would say big play that they won off of. They just understood their draft, and they knew if the game just scaled that they would win. Griffin usually just usually Griffin sees a lot of openings and takes fights on those openings, but they were just, we have a better teamfight comp and we're going to scale with our better teamfight comp and only take the fights when it's favorable for us. Scary team. Alright, let's go to the next game. Alright, same thing as always. Let's go to the end of the draft. This time, the team switching sides. I know you're not going to play Shaco. Lock in your champion. Alright, Nocturne. Okay, let's do it before the swaps. Alright, Nocturne. So, interestingly, Griffin gave up Cassiopeia to SKT, and they just banned the playmaking champion from Mata, Thresh, and they also banned Kench, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure why they would ban Kench. And they banned Urgot. SKT smartly banning Sion, Akali, Aatrox. I actually love these bans from SKT. I think it takes away a lot of great tools for Griffin, but looks like Griffin has something prepared. So SKT opens with Cassio draft. So Cassiopeia is just so strong because she can go both mid and bottom, right? And she's one of the strongest laning champions bottom too. If Cassio, whoever Cassio goes versus, she's going to be able to be dominant on. So I'm very interested to see if she goes bot lane or mid lane. On the other hand, for Griffin, they're opening with Lucian Jace. Jace also another flexible pick that can go mid or top, and Chobi and Sword, both great Jace players. They force picked Galio. This Galio pick's a little bit awkward in my opinion, because SKT could always, like, for their 5th pick, right? They could have picked something like, actually they can't pick something like Vayne. Even if they pick Vayne mid, you can't play Vayne mid with Cleanse versus Galio if enemy hasn't taken their jungle yet. If they pick something like Camille or Lee Sin or Xin Zhao, the Vayne mid just gets killed. So that's why they didn't take the Vayne yet. If you look at EU LCS game or EU LEC games where they pick Vayne into Galio, it's versus stuff like Sejuani or versus stuff just not very strong junglers that have very strong ganks. And that's why you can run Vayne with Cleanse versus Galio, because the jungle ganks aren't that scary. But you can't pick Vayne here if they haven't taken their jungle yet. So, interestingly, instead of doing something like Camille Galio, they're doing Nocturne Galio. Both Tarzan and Clid have not picked Camille yet. I'm very curious why they aren't very interested in taking Camille. Alright, let's see what the lanes actually are. So, yeah. Ooh, Cassiopeia versus Lucian bottom. This is going to be super important, how Cassio plays versus Lucian bottom. Now, both teams are team fight. Let's go to the actual game itself. Both teams are a team fight. Yeah, SKT is a team fight comp, so is Griffin. But Griffin had much stronger tools to engage with. One thing that was very characteristic of Korean teams is they would draft low engage comps, and they would be very good about playing with priority. But it seems like Griffin has broken that mold where they pick comps with strong priority and strong engage, but they forgo strong scaling. So Koreans usually go no engage, strong scaling, and strong priority, but Griffin's the other way, where they go strong engage and strong priority, but no scaling. Ooh, Victor versus Chase top lane. I'd imagine that Khan would win this matchup, not because Victor beats Jace, but Khan plays both sides of the matchup, so he has to be incredibly intelligent about it. Khan's Victor is actually insane. I would say Khan's Khan gets so much recognition for being one of the best bruiser players, but he's actually just the best carry player in my opinion, and he plays stuff like Victor, Jace incredibly well. He plays these range mage champions so well. His Rise is good too. Actually, I like this style of draft a lot better from SKT, where they're not putting Khan on Urgot. Later on though, Nocturne, Galio, getting onto the back line of Cassio and Victor, it's going to be scary. All the stars going to have to do an incredibly good job of peeling. Oh my god, what happened, Mata? This should never happen. He just walked too far up and got hit by a Q and then died. Got chafing up. Ugh, that's bad. In a Cassio lane, you never want to give up prio like that. And also, Lucian started Doran Ring. Oh, so I heard Viper was playing W Max Lucian. I guess because you can't beat Cassio in a trade, what he's doing is he's maxing W and he's playing to kind of like poke in lane. Holy fuck. W max teleport Doran Ring Lucian. Then this is some next level LCK technology. I mean, it allows you to play versus champions that beat you at mid-range, stuff like Draven, stuff like Cassio. I never really thought about playing Lucian that way, but I guess it's a way to evolve Lucian gameplay to where Lucian can beat these mid-range champions like Cassiopeia and Draven. It sounds troll as fuck, but this is what I mean regarding like Griffin. Like, they're very innovative too. Is the W damage that game changing when max? It does similar levels of damage to Q. It's just more so than the damage being incredibly high. It's a skill you can use from a distance that helps you to push the lane, and that's also AoE. And you can do it from range, and it's also AoE. Also, Chapstick and Electric Roar. I'm not sure what's going on in chat. I'll check over afterwards. Let's not like kill each other. Sorry. Alright, I'm gonna focus on the VOD review and then I'll get to the chat drama. Alright. Looks like SKT invaded for red. They have prio from both top and mid. Both top and mid moving first. Able to get the red. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Oh my god, that's fucking over. What the fuck happened? So people moved first. SKT was definitely here first. They're here first. But Clit is level 5 invading onto a level 6 Nocturne. Oh my god. Level 5 invading to a level 6 Nocturne. Galio ult didn't hit anything. Nocturne ult hit the Olaf. Missed JCQ, but Galio flash taunt and no one flashed out. Oh my god, flash taunt on 3 people. Q. That's a feels bad. That's a feels bad. And then also Mata dying. Then this Lucian W Max, this new technology. Because I would have never expected Lucian to be able to beat a Cassiopeia lane because you lose to Cassio mid range. But by maxing W and playing to poke out, you're no longer like a mid-range champion, you're a poke champion. Yeah, so, I mean, SKT bad invade on bad timing for Olaf, where he's level 5 to Griffin's level, or Tarzan's level 6. But also, this fucking Lucian W Max technology. Okay, so you should only do W Max when you're doing it versus a champion that beats you at mid-range. So stuff like Draven or Cassio. If you're not versus Draven or Cassio, please don't max W. Oh, the Faker flashed into the bush. It's only 3 points. He doesn't max it beyond that. Okay. Yeah, Jay flashed over the wall to try to chase Faker, but he went into the brush. Yeah, later down, like the Nocturne ganks on Victor combined with Jace opening up with melee Q. It makes the game so hard for Victor to actually do anything because the Galio pressure and the Nocturne pressure. So what's supposed to happen with global champions, right? If you're playing versus stuff like Galio, you gank Galio mid lane because Galio can't use his globals if you're like ganking the lane himself, right? That's what you need to do versus global champions. Beat them in their own lane. But when Galio is 2-0, there's not much to do. You can't fucking fight in the Galio 2-0 lane. So you have to try to help the other lanes. But the other lanes then get Galio ulted, then get Nocturne ulted. It's just a lose-lose situation when Galio is ahead. That's why Galio is so strong right now. That champion's just so bullshit when it gets ahead. He can wave clear, he can team fight, he can help other lanes. If he has people that can go in for him, stuff like Nocturne, he's a good engage also. Ugh. A little over eager there when Galio and Nocturne weren't all the way set up. This fight's gonna happen. Nocturne ult into Galio ult. Teleport, they can't see the teleport properly because of the Galio or Nocturne turning the lights off. SKT should know when they're using Herald there and they're trying to walk up, they should know that if they go forward, they're gonna get fucked. Yeah. Lihan got caught on the Victor W, but yeah, here like lights being turned off, Nocturne going in, and then Galio ult coming down, and then Jace coming in while the lights are turned off. Ugh. Brutal. SKT able to make a good bot play though when Griffin was resetting. But this game already is way too... Yeah, Thor just shouldn't have been playing up there. This game's already way too sporadic. Like, the champions that are ahead are so bad for SKT. Nocturne ahead, Galio ahead, Lucian ahead. Nocturne already finishes Guardian Angel. So next time Nocturne goes in, it's going to be so easy for him to survive. So some people talking about Clid being 0-5, but I did think Clid's invade, the first invade, was kind of troll, and he's jungling versus the best jungler in the world, but also like Mana repeatedly dying bot lane makes things so bad for him too. The bot lane that's supposed to win is losing. Like when you draft Cassio first pick, you're supposed to win with that pick, but they're actually losing. Teddy too scared to be aggressive. He probably never played versus a WMAX Lucian, and he's like, wait, what the fuck? I'm losing so much HP every time I walk up and I'm getting poked down with W. I've never played versus this technology before. The problem is, you don't, so as a Cassiopeia, he probably practiced versus Lucian, and he's like, oh, this is how the Cassiopeia Lucian matchup plays out. But when he versus this, he's like, oh, what the fuck? This isn't how it's working out. So it's 3 points W, not max. Okay. I mean, 3 points W early in lane is still a lot. So up until like level 6, you're still putting the maximum amount of points you can in W. So it's still a lot of early game damage. And it's not just the W alone, or putting 3 points in W. You're also starting Dorian Ring. So you have more mana regen and additional AP for the W. I think it's too early to call the game over, but when it's versus Griffin, and Griffin's just known to not make any kind of teamfight mistake, like Nocturne Galio Wombo combo is going to be too much. No, it's not for the movement speed. The movement speed doesn't matter in lane. The W max, putting 3 points in W with Dorian Ring, it's just purely for the poke. Yeah. The 3 points in W is purely for the poke. Damn, this new technology. And they haven't done even that much wombos with Galio and Nocturne. Just the threat of it makes SKT back up from turret. Start Baron, fight and chokes if they decide to come in. If they decide to come in, they're going to take the fight on the choke. They're going to take the fight. Fighting on the choke. Oh! Oh! Ooh, this fight's actually kind of messy. They only half fought. Wow, this fight actually could have gone so much worse. So we can look at it again. So Lihan trying to block. Galio goes in, but Nocturne's like, I'm gonna finish, guys, I'm gonna finish. And Nocturne's actually ending up finishing. Sword goes down. Viper kiting. And then they actually went in there, and Nocturne was barely able to get the Baron. If they were going to do this team fight, I think Nocturne should have turned all the way and actually finished Baron. They were able to win, but this fight could have gone so much worse. Yeah, damn, this was probably the closest point in that game where the game actually could have turned for SKT. That Baron fight. Why is AP carry Victor top but thing now with Theory? So you go Klepto to farm melee champions, but why Victor's so good is he's just incredibly strong in the 1v1, and also in long lanes he can chase people down with Q. So people asking about NA scrims versus Korean scrims. NA scrims are usually 2 blocks. During playoff or leading up to playoffs, like most teams do triple blocks. The thing that's, oh shit, let's actually look at this fight. SKT correctly identified the target. If they do go on someone, Nocturne's probably the easiest target for them to go on. Nocturne or Jace, but I mean, with combination of Galio ult and stopwatch, they weren't going to kill him. But going back to like the scrim thing, so what's different about Korea is like NA scrims are usually 2 blocks of 3 hours, where Korean scrims are like 2 blocks of 4 hours or sometimes 5 hours. Like the scrim blocks itself are much longer in Korea. Griffin just executing 2-on-2 with Baron. And this game's already done. They're going to get 3 inhibitors off of this. If they don't get 3 inhibitors, they're just going to get 1 good team fight. Even if they don't even have to do that, because they have so much turret gold, they can just recall and fight. One thing that Riot tried to do was, when teams are ahead, you'll get a lot of bounties. So if you lose a team fight, then people can come in. But the Griffin members with the bounties are just so unwilling to die. Look at the amount of gold. 750, 850, 1000. That's 2,600 gold on Griffin just from the bounties. And they're not willing to give up that bounty. They're just not going to give them the fight. They have 2,600 gold that they could be dropping at any moment if they start fighting and dying. But they're not willing to drop it. Yeah, all these stopwatches, GA. Fucking Chobi has Zhonya's and a stopwatch. This is how much they value the stopwatch. Ugh, this is fucking disgusting. Oh! Whoa, this fight's actually close. Also, hi Jaden, how are you doing? Oh man, that fight was actually a lot closer than I thought it'd be. Let's actually rewatch it at a slower speed. So fight starting with Cassio teleporting there. What? Okay, Cassio teleport. Galio ult going down immediately. Braum ult on top. Cassio gonna die without being able to do anything. Cassio dies without being able to do anything. Norn on top of Lucian. Lucian across the wall. Lucian dashed back, but dives to the Victor that came. Faker actually did a lot of work there, but yeah, game's over. Because Cassio died without being able to really fight. It didn't matter too much. She died without... Yeah, but she didn't get to do anything. So Faker was able to kill Lucian, but he had to burn his flash and everything to do it. So the fight was over after. Damn. Oh, Griffin's just so... They don't give you a shot at all, how they play. The only chance that SKT had was that one Baron fight. Alright, let's check Reddit comments as always. This is one of you guys' favorite part. I look at Reddit comments after the game. Korea takes 1 world loss and Griffin activates murder EXE. Oh yeah, Chobi got 100 KDA after that game. That's so crazy. 100 fucking KDA. Griffin making SKT look like a mid-tier Twitch rivals team. Mata did play kind of shitty. 100 KDA, that's so crazy to think about. But you can see how cleanly Griffin plays and how unwilling they are to give up their bounties on their high value targets. A lot of that comes from so much discipline and practice. Alright, that's going to be the end of the VOD review. Looks like there isn't that much... Oh, actually, this one's good. Khan is the most overrated player next to Peanut. Jesus Christ. Nope, I don't think Khan is overrated. I think Khan is exactly rated how he is. He's great on carry champions and not so much on other things, and he needs resources. That's how you should be thinking of Khan as a player. If you just think of Khan as the best top laner in the world, that's where you're actually wrong. Khan is a very player with very clear strengths and very clear weaknesses.